She used to believe love was measured by how much of yourself you could give away and still stand. For most of her life, Anea stood quietly in the background of other people's happiness. She learned early how to fold her dreams small enough to fit into kitchen drawers, beneath unpaid bills, between sleepless nights. When her husband died suddenly, leaving behind a half-built house and a 3-year-old daughter with curious eyes, the world did not pause to grieve with her. It simply kept moving, demanding strength she did not know she had, so she became strong. She worked jobs that bruised her hands and dimmed her eyes. She stitched clothes for neighbors at night, cooked during the day, and learned to stretch a single coin into a week's worth of meals. Every sacrifice was justified by one thought alone. My daughter will never have to live like this. Her daughter, grew up unaware of the cost of her comfort. She had books, tutors, music lessons, things Anea never dared to want for herself. When Ree fell sick, Anea sold her wedding jewelry without hesitation. When school fees increased, she took loans with impossible interest. Each signature on every paper felt temporary, because love, she believed, was permanent. Ree grew into a confident, educated woman, beautiful, intelligent, independent, or so it seemed. When she introduced Vikram her future husband, Anea felt cautious but hopeful. He was polished, articulate, respectful. He spoke of modern values, of shared responsibilities, of caring for elders. He called Anea Ma with ease, and each time he did, her heart softened. She wanted to believe him. After the wedding, changes came quietly, disguised as practicality. Ma, it's safer if the property is under our name, Ree suggested gently one evening. Just for convenience, Vikram added with a reassuring smile, banks, taxes, emergencies, it's complicated these days. Anea hesitated. The house was the only thing she had left of her late husband, built brick by brick with borrowed money and stubborn hope. But when she looked at her daughter, she saw the child she once carried through monsoon rains to school. She remembered promises whispered into the dark, so she signed. One paper became many, a signature here, a transfer there, savings accounts merged, jewelry placed in lockers she no longer accessed. Each decision was wrapped in affection, sealed with trust. Slowly, visits became rare. Phone calls shortened. Conversations felt rushed, interrupted. Vikram began answering questions meant for Ree. When Anea mentioned loneliness, she was told she was overthinking. When she asked about finances, she was reminded how lucky she was to have such responsible children. Then came the silence. Weeks passed without news. When Anea finally visited their home unannounced, she felt like a guest, offered polite smiles, cold tea, and excuses. Ree avoided her eyes. Vikram checked his phone. Something fragile cracked inside her, but she said nothing. Mothers often mistake pain for patience. The court notice arrived on a humid afternoon. She read it 3 times, her hands trembling, unable to understand how familiar words could feel so foreign. Plaintiff, Ree Sharma, her daughter's name, in black ink, against hers. They were demanding full ownership. Eviction rights, total control, everything. Anea sat on the edge of her bed long after the sun disappeared, the house around her unbearably quiet. The walls she had built echoed with memories, laughter, lullabies, prayers whispered for her child's future. She did not cry that night. Instead, she felt something colder than tears settle in her chest, the realization that love, when taken for granted, can be weaponized, and that the greatest betrayal does not come from strangers, but from the hands you once held while teaching them how to walk. The courtroom smelled of old paper and polished wood, cold, authoritative, unforgiving. Anea stepped inside as if entering a foreign land where her years of sacrifice held no currency. Her simple sari felt heavier than usual, its faded border standing out against the sharp suits and crisp confidence around her. Ree sat on the opposite side, not beside her, not behind her, opposite, That single detail cut deeper than any legal demand. Anais searched her daughter's face, hoping for hesitation, for guilt, some sign that this was all a misunderstanding that could still be undone. But Rhee's eyes were fixed on the table before her, unreadable, distant, as if she were preparing for a business meeting instead of dismantling her mother's life. Vikram looked comfortable, too comfortable. He leaned back slightly, whispering to their lawyer, occasionally smiling as if already savoring victory. Then the judge entered, Justice Malhotra, a man with a reputation for efficiency and sharp wit. As he took his seat, Vikram stood up with an ease that suggested familiarity. Their eyes met. A brief nod passed between them, so subtle it could be dismissed, if Anaya hadn't noticed the way the judge's lips curved, just slightly. The proceedings began. Rhee's lawyer spoke confidently, his voice echoing through the room as he listed demands with surgical precision. All assets transferred over the past 7 years, full ownership of the residential property, immediate eviction rights, remaining financial control. Not once did he mention why these transfers had happened. Not once did he speak of trust or family or promises made over shared meals. Anaya's lawyer tried. He spoke of emotional coercion, of verbal assurances, of a mother's good faith. His words sounded thin, almost embarrassed, as if even he doubted their weight. The judge listened, tapping his pen, eyes drifting toward Vikram now and then. When it was Anaya's turn, she stood slowly. "My lord," she began softly, "I only did what any mother—" She didn't get to finish. The judge raised a hand, impatience flickering across his face. "This is a court of law, not a storytelling session," he said. A few people chuckled. "You signed legal documents. Are you suggesting you didn't understand what you were doing?" Anaya's throat tightened. "I trusted my daughter. That earned her a smile, not kind, not sympathetic. Trust is not a legal argument," the judge replied. Naivety is not an excuse. The word naive hung in the air, heavy and humiliating. Rhee shifted in her chair but still did not look at her. Vikram smirked. The judge leaned forward now, his tone sharper, almost mocking. "You educated your daughter, yet you remained emotionally driven. This court cannot protect people from their own poor decisions." Anaya felt every pair of eyes on her, some curious, some pitying, some amused. Her hands trembled, but she clasped them tightly in front of her, grounding herself. She had endured worse than this. Hunger, loneliness, widowhood, silence, but this was different. This was her love being dissected and dismissed in public. The judge glanced at the clock. "I see no substantial defense here," he said casually. "We may conclude swiftly." Then he looked directly at Anaya, eyebrow raised, voice laced with indifference. "Unless," he added, "you have anything meaningful to say before we proceed." The room grew quiet. Anaya remained standing. For a moment it seemed as though she might sit back down, defeated, folded once again into the role the world expected of her. But instead she lifted her head, her spine straightened, her eyes tired but clear, moved from her daughter to her son-in-law and finally to the judge. She took a slow breath, and for the first time since the case began, she did not speak as a mother begging to be understood. She spoke as a woman who had nothing left to lose. Anaya did not raise her voice. That alone unsettled the room. She stood there, hands still folded, her expression calm in a way that did not belong to the defeated. The judge waited, clearly expecting either tears or incoherence, something he could dismiss with a wave of his hand. Vikram leaned back, confident. Rhee finally glanced up, irritation flickering across her face, as though this delay annoyed her. Anaya spoke slowly. "My lord," she said, "I understand that trust is not a legal argument." The judge nodded, satisfied, already preparing his next interruption. "But truth is, through the was not a foot but in ktrum." Slightly toward her the idea that space and time are linked to gravity, also changes how we think about motion. He looked confused. She had not shared this with him. At her gentle nod, he hesitated. then stood and handed a thick brown envelope to the court clerk. "What is this?" the judge asked, frowning. "Documents," Anea replied. "Ones I was advised not to bring, because people assumed I had none." The clerk placed the envelope before the judge. He opened it casually, then stopped. The first document was a *** registered affidavit ***, signed by Ree and Vikram, acknowledging that all asset transfers were * temporary *, intended solely for financial management, not ownership. The judge's pen stilled. Anea continued, her voice steady. "I was naive, my lord. Naive enough to believe verbal promises were enough, but not naive enough to forget my husband taught me one thing before he died, * never give away your life without keeping a record *. Vikram sat forward now. The second document followed a ** bank statement trail **, showing systematic withdrawals made without Anea's knowledge, funneling money into accounts not disclosed to the court. Ree's lawyer stood abruptly. "My lord, we were not informed. Sit down." The judge snapped, irritation creeping into his voice. Anea turned her gaze to her daughter for the first time. "Ree," she said softly, not accusing, not pleading. "Do you remember the day you asked me to sign the house papers?" Ree's lips parted slightly. She said nothing. "You told me it was only until the loan cleared. You promised in front of the temple that the house would always be mine." Anea nodded once, as if acknowledging a private truth. "I recorded that conversation." The room froze. The judge's head snapped up. "Recorded, yes," Anea replied. "Because something in your voice that day sounded practiced." Her lawyer now understood. He produced a USB drive and handed it over. The audio played. Ree's voice filled the courtroom clear, unmistakable. Then Vikram's, calm, calculated. Discussing strategy, talking about **, eventually moving her mother out **, about how she'll never fight back, about knowing the judge personally, about how the law is on our side, not hers. The judge's face drained of color. He reached for the volume control as if the sound itself were burning him. Anea spoke again, each word precise. "I was told this court does not deal in emotions. That is why I brought facts." She turned her eyes to the judge, now respectful, but unafraid. "There is one more document, my lord, a disclosure I was advised to submit separately." The final paper slid across the desk. A *** formal complaint draft *** addressed to the Judicial Oversight Committee, detailing the judge's personal association with the plaintiff's husband, supported by photographs, messages, and witness statements. The courtroom was no longer merely silent. It was stunned. The judge swallowed. His fingers trembled as he adjusted his glasses. Anea took a breath, not for courage, but for closure. "I raised my daughter to believe in fairness," she said quietly. "If I failed her, then this court may punish me." She paused, "but if fairness still matters here, then you will punish the truth too." She stopped speaking. No drama, no accusations, no tears, just truth laid bare. The judge opened his mouth. No words came out. And in that silence, heavy, absolute power finally shifted. The silence did not break with a gavel. It broke with reality. Justice Malhotra cleared his throat once, then again. The authority that had filled his voice earlier now sounded fragile, rehearsed. He announced a recess, abrupt, hurried, and left the bench without meeting anyone's eyes. The courtroom erupted into whispers, but Anea remained still, as if she had already stepped beyond the noise. When proceedings resumed, everything had changed. A senior judge had taken over. The tone was different, measured, cautious, respectful. Anea was asked to sit, offered water, spoken to as a person rather than a problem. The documents were reviewed again, carefully this time, and the audio recording replayed under formal acknowledgement. The law, stripped of arrogance, revealed its true face. The verdict came swiftly. All transferred assets were ordered to be returned to Anea's sole ownership. The eviction request was dismissed with sharp disapproval. A separate inquiry was initiated, one that did not need to be explained aloud. The former judge sat silently to the side, his career unraveling in real time. Vikram's confidence collapsed into desperation. He argued, objected, protested, but no one listened anymore. Ree wept openly now, the composure she wore like armor finally cracking. Yet Anea did not move toward her. Some distances, once crossed, cannot be retraced. Outside the courthouse, reporters gathered, hungry for scandal. Anea walked past them without a word. She did not need an audience. Revenge had been offered to her in many forms that day. Public humiliation, harsh punishment, social ruin. She accepted none of them. She returned home to the same house she had built, the same walls that had witnessed her sacrifices. That evening, she lit a lamp and sat alone, not in loneliness, but in peace. For the first time in years, the house felt like it belonged to her again. Weeks later, Ree came to see her. She stood at the doorway like a child unsure of her place. Her voice trembled as she spoke apologies that came too late, shaped by loss rather than understanding. Anea listened without interruption. "I didn't come to punish you," Anea said finally. "I came to protect myself." She did not shout. She did not accuse. "I will always be your mother," she added, "but I will never again be your shield." Ree left in tears. Anea closed the door gently behind her. Life did not magically heal after that. Trust, once broken, leaves scars. But Anea began again, slowly, deliberately. She volunteered at a legal aid center, helping other women who believed they were powerless. She learned, she spoke, she stood. People asked her how it felt to win. She would smile softly and reply, "I didn't win. I stopped losing." On quiet mornings, she sat by the window with tea in her hands, watching sunlight fill the room. The world had not changed, but she had. And that was the sweetest revenge of all.